Hello vinyl community, this is Randy, back today with another video. It's Sunday morning, February the 28th, and today I'm going to, I'm going to show you my Big Star records. I'm going to rank them. I'm going to rank the Big Star records, so there's only 3 of them, so it's not too hard to rank, and since all 3 of them are so incredible, I'm not sure if there's a whole lot of value in ranking them, but because they're all great. But I'm also going to show you some other Big Star and Alex Chilton related stuff. So Big Star was a band that started in 1971 in Memphis with 4 members. Alex Chilton had been a member of the Box Tops before that, who had a couple of great hit songs, The Letter and Cry Like a Baby. And then Chris Bell was had been in a band with Jody Stevens and Andy Hummel. So I guess the 4 of them decided to hook up and just form one band, so they did, and released their first album in 1972. The first album is Big Star. I had heard of Big Star. I'd read about them like in magazines and stuff, maybe in the early 80s, but had really never heard their music, and the first time I ever heard any was actually after I joined the Air Force, and a friend of mine recorded a tape for me of Big Star there. He recorded the 3rd album, which was actually called Sister Lovers. This is a CD version I have of it. I can't find that cassette that I had anymore. It was a slightly different version from this one because, well, I just remember on that tape it did not have Downs as the 2nd song, and it also did not have a whole lot of shaking going on. There might have been another song. So those 2 songs are on this CD. Anyway, so my friend played that for me, so I became a big Alex Chilton fan, and so then I got assigned to Berlin, so I was living there in Berlin, and that's actually where I got this actual CD. That was probably like in 1987 or something. There was a record store there in Berlin called Mr. Dead and Mrs. Free, and so I got the first 2 albums there in 1987, and I really have not definitely identified this record. I've looked in Discogs, and I can't really find any pressings for 1987. The closest I can find is for something that says it from mid-80s or earlier. So, I mean, it doesn't really appear to be a bootleg. I'm not really sure what a bootleg would look like, but here's what the label looks like. So, yeah, I'm not really sure where this came from, but it sounds great. And yeah, then I got there, I think it was on the same day, actually. I think at that same record store, Mr. Dead and Mrs. Free, they had the 2nd album, Big Radio City. I'd never heard the first 2 albums. I'd only heard that 3rd one, so I was really glad to be able to get these. And I think it's the same story with that. I haven't definitely identified this one, but it seems to be from the mid-80s. So, yeah, by this 2nd album, Jody Stevens had left, so there's really only 3 members of the band remaining here. So, yeah, and that's on the same sort of label there. So those are the 3 Big Star albums. Alex Chilton had a solo album that came out in 87 or 88 called High Priest. Yeah, all my friends, everybody there in Berlin, we all got that one. It was, this is a tape of it. I don't have a actual album. It wasn't necessarily all that good, though. I mean, it was okay. 3rd song on it was called Dalai Lama, which is sort of a novelty song. Kind of detracted from the whole thing. So it was all right. Not a bad album, but one of my favorites. In 1987, The Replacements, on their Pleased to Meet Me album, had a song called Alex Chilton, and I think that really awakened a lot of interest in the band. when they sang that song, because the Replacements were a pretty big band. So, yeah, they sang the song called Alex Chilton. This is a really cool tape. On the other side of it is the Modern Lovers, that first Modern Lovers album with, starts out with Roadrunner on it, has I'm Straight on it. But yeah, the Alex Chilton album on here is, the Replacements album on here is Pleased to Meet Me. So, yeah, that song, Alex Chilton. Alex had another solo record that's just an EP called Feudalist Hearts. I think this also came out in like 1987 or, well, no, 1985. I may have gotten this in the U.S. and yeah, there's just 5 songs on here, 6 songs on here, or maybe 7. This is an excellent tape. There is a song on here called T99 New, which maybe I'll try and do well, it wouldn't really be a needle drop, but I might try to play a little bit of that, or maybe at least leave a link to it in the description down there. T99 New, he sings, I want you to be my T99 New, which is really cool. The closest equivalent as far as the thought, for that song, the sentiment behind it that I can think of is Tommy James and the Shondells, Hanky Panky. Because, I'm thinking that for both of these artists, if your baby does the Hanky Panky, or, if your girl wants to be your T99 New, well, then, you've pretty much got it made. What more do you need besides a baby who does the Hanky Panky? So that was a great song. And there was another album that came out, I think in 85 or 86, by this Mortal Coil 4AD band. This album opened with Kangaroo, which is a song from Sister Lovers, and then the third song on it is Holocaust, which is also from Sister Lovers. So 2 of their first 3 songs were from that Alex Chilton album, and they just sound outstanding. So yeah, this Mortal Coil. So yeah, Alex Tilton, when I was living there in Berlin, I went to see Alex. He was on tour, and he came there to play at a club. It was a small club. I went with some of my friends, and he came out and played. I may have told this story before. He came out and played 2 or 3 songs and wasn't happy with the sound, and so he said, I'm going to have to stop, and they're going to have to fix this sound, and then I'll come back out. So they worked on it for a while, and then he came back out, played a couple more songs, and I tell you, the whole time it sounded great. I mean, in the audience, I think everybody was very happy with it, but I suppose maybe he couldn't hear himself or something, but he played a couple more songs, and then he said, I can't play like this. It's not fair to me, and it's not fair to you. He said, you should all get your money back, and that was it. So, yeah, really disappointing. We did get our money back, but we would rather have seen him, I think. Then in 1992 or 3, I saw Alex at the Edge in Palo Alto. He was touring with Robin Hitchcock, so he was opening for Robin Hitchcock, and that was an outstanding show. He played his whole set that time. This was not a big star. It was just Alex Chilton. He had a band with him, and they were just outstanding. I really enjoyed it. The thing I remembered about that song was the first 3 or 4 songs he played were exactly the same ones that he had played in Berlin. I don't necessarily remember what those were right now. Then in 2001, when I moved to Nashville, there used to be some like street party things here in Nashville where they would have bands play, and Alex Chilton came and played at one of those. So that was really good. That was like an afternoon show, and it was like daylight. I was there. I was like pretty close to the stage, and he came out and he was working with all his equipment and everything. He was just wearing like a blue Oxford cloth shirt. Looks like he could have worked at Blockbuster. He's an average-looking guy, and yeah, played that day. That was really an excellent show too. That outdoor show. So yeah, I got to see him 3 times. So that was good. And let's see. The last thing I have to show you is this box set. Keep an Eye on the Sky. This came out in, well, when did this come out? 2009, 2010, something like that. So this is a box set with 4 discs in it, so you basically get just about everything they ever recorded with this one. So I would highly recommend this to anyone who is interested in getting into Big Star. You get it all here. Pictures, and on the inside it's just the CDs. And there's actually one. This last CD has a video on it, so there's one video of them playing in Memphis in 1972 or 3 or something like that. It comes with this book too, pretty extensive book here. I won't go through every page here, but there's quite a bit of information in here. So yeah, so that's my my Big Star collection. How would I rank these records? There was a single that came out at the same time as that box set. This is an alternate mix of the song Feel, and then also an unissued single mix of Maud Lang. So this is a really cool record. There's what that one looks like. Yeah, so how would I rank these? Well, my favorite is Sister Lovers. Just because Sister Lovers has so many great songs there. I mean, every one just incredible. Really starts out with Stroke It Noel. Well, Downs I would sort of skip. But then, you know, it's interesting. The third song on here is Femme Fatale by Velvet Underground, which is, you know, those are two bands that, you know, from what I read and everything, didn't sell a whole lot of records when they were actually together, but they were both very influential in bands that came after them. So it's interesting that they decided to do Femme Fatale on here. Lots of other great songs on here. Thank You Friends, Holocaust, that song that I mentioned that the This Mortal Coil did. Christmas song, Jesus Christ was born today. The song that we're hearing right now. Yeah, this is Blue Moon. And yeah, really just everything on here. Kiss of Me, fantastic song. Oh Dana, probably my favorite Big Star song out of all their songs. Kangaroo closes with Take Care. Just a wonderful, wonderful song. So this would be my favorite. After that, you know, the other two are I'll show you. Those are the 12-inch single that came out too. No Sex, Underclass, and Wild Kingdom. This came out in, well, I think in that same period, 1985 or 86 or something. It's pretty cool. No Sex is a great song. Yeah, so I would have the Sister Lovers is my favorite, and then after that, my first one would be my favorite. Second favorite would be the first one, Ballad of El Goodo, 13. Yeah, When My Baby's Beside Me, fantastic album. That's the first one. So they're all great. I mean, all three of these albums are so fantastic. I'm not really sure there's any point in ranking them, but I do like to. I like to listen to them. This is the second album, and yeah, just lots more great songs on here. September Girls would be a hit song on here that the Bangles covered in the mid '80s there at some point. So that was another thing that sort of put Big Star back on the radar for maybe a lot of people who hadn't really heard them before. So yeah, that's it. That's my Big Star recap there. So yeah, let me know what you think about Big Star. Have you heard these albums? Or yeah, I would highly recommend that box set if you're just thinking about getting into Big Star, because it's really inexpensive and you basically get everything there. So I know Craft Recordings did some reissues I think just last year, so there's really good copies out there available. So yeah, so that's it. So Big Star, let me know what you think. Hope everybody's having a great day. Thanks very much for watching.